IVM.
Do you know what's the first thing that I see when I switch on Instagram? Or rather, the type of content that really overwhelms me. Oh yes, there are things that overwhelm me as well. It's all these red flags. About anything. Red flag this, red flag that. If you see this run, if you see that, then let's cancel this person altogether. Red flags had a purpose. Once upon a time. To help us make better choices. Unfortunately, right now, they aren't doing that. All they are doing is inducing fear in us, making us trip on that sense of rebellion unnecessarily, and creating a false illusion that we're doing something great or being oh so right by listening to these red flags and just running or canceling something or somebody. Hi, I'm Chetna, your favorite positive action coach, and this is Say No to Drama. Well, I know most of you are thinking that this is another episode on red flags, but I've already done that. All you have to do is scroll down the list on the IBM Podcast app and website, and you'll find the episode. This one is about green flags. Green flags in relationships. And if you haven't heard the last episode, it was green flags at the workplace. Go listen to it, but after you listen to this one. So here are some of the green flags that you should look for. Yes, instead of looking for red flags, try to look for green flags. Why? Because then you're going on that date with a positive outlook. Or you're meeting this person and spending time with this person to make it work. You're not looking for a reason to run. You're not looking for a reason to protect yourself and reject somebody, to judge and label somebody. Green flags are a much better way of assessing things right now. And no, this doesn't mean that you ignore the red flags, but it means that the green flags will help you keep the red flags in the right perspective. Right at the top of the list is kindness. This person that you are dating, irrespective of gender, guys, this is not just about guys being kind, but also girls being kind. And yes, right on the top of that list of green flags is kindness. Is this person a kind person? When something goes wrong, when mistakes are made, sure, they may get angry. We also do. But then at the end of it, are they kind? Are they compassionate? How they treat other people? Do you see kindness? The ones that they love and even strangers. Green flag number 2 is that they listen to what you are saying and they're not waiting to respond, but they are truly interacting with you. They are sharing, they are involved, they are participating in a conversation that you have started. They are willing to listen to things about you and your life, just as you are listening to things about them and their life. Green flag number 3, right actions. Go beyond words, guys. Don't just fall for the words. Look for the actions. If they say something and they follow it up with the appropriate action, then that's a green flag. It says that this person shows up and says what they mean. They're not giving you empty words. And I also say this, unless you see actions, the right kind of actions for you, those that are aligned to your desires, don't allow somebody into the consideration box. Forget about dating them. Another green flag is how they resolve conflict. Are they somebody who will give you the cold shoulder or they always want to have the last word? I mean, these are all red flags, right? What's the opposite of that? Somebody who is always willing to work things out. This does not mean that they will agree with you or be submissive or bend over backwards or always apologize or always come after you. But it means that they are open to a discussion and they are willing to talk things through. How they talk about their past, that's another green flag. If they're always blaming their ex-partners, if they are always talking about them in a bad light, talking about how they were horrible people, that's not a good person out there. Because when you break up, you're going to be in that list. So the green flag there is when they talk about their past relationships in a way where they take responsibility for their actions and the part that they played. This does not mean that they have to be friends with their exes. A lot of people aren't, but they don't talk about that person in a disrespectful way. Sure, the relationship didn't work out. Sure, they were hurt. And yet, they don't talk about that person in a disrespectful way or in a manner of blaming them. it was all their fault. And obviously, this person that you're meeting did nothing wrong. And the last green flag for me would be the maturity level. Yes, a person's maturity level. Well, you usually get to see this when there's a conflict and also when they're talking about their past, but you will also see this in their general outlook towards life, relationships, and handling tough times or even enjoying the good times. These are some of the green flags that I go by. And if you have listened to me well, then you may have realized that all I was doing was flipping a lot of the red flags. Instead of walking into a date with a sense of panic, a sense of worry, waiting to reject, waiting to say no, instead of looking for red flags, because those will anyway show up, look for the green flags. You want to have a relationship. You want to experience love. You want to build a life with a partner. Look for the reasons that will make you say yes before you go scanning for all those reasons that are going to make you say no. What you want to experience is something positive. You cannot build that on negative emotions. That should just be common sense, but unfortunately, that is in itself very uncommon. So anyway, I hope that these green flags help you swipe right and chat and go on a date and assess a person from a happier space, from a more calm, peaceful, and reassured space, because that's the point of this episode. Think about what are your green flags. What I've given you is just the starting point. We will all have our own individual pieces to add to this list. Add those and go enjoy a good meal with somebody, keeping these in mind. If you don't know what your green flags are, because you're so used to being in that panic state of being hurt or somebody destroying you once again, because your heart is, oh my God, oh so fragile. Maybe you want to book a session with me. DM me on Instagram. My handle is Positivity Angel. And if you want to listen to the previous episodes, and there are many, many, many on relationships. In fact, last year I did an entire series of 26 episodes on relationships. Just scroll down the list on the IVM Podcast app and website and listen to those episodes. But here's the thing. When you listen to these episodes, please put the tips or tools or things that I share into action. There's no point in listening to my words if you're not going to change your reactions, your behaviors, and the way that you are thinking and feeling. So listen and act accordingly.
Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Cyrus's Cock and Bull, Cyrus, Ayushi, Shreyas and Antarix talk about the IITIM Shadi.com endeavor and the newly conceived male contraceptive pills. We have a brand new show. It's a Marathi show called Akhand Bharat. Host Sanya Mane is an Indologist and she takes us back to Vedic times and offers us the history and origin of many myths. On Paisa Vaisa, Anupam introduces us to Manesh Mahatmev, Director Payments, WhatsApp India. Together they map out the success of digital payments in India. On the Filter Coffee podcast, Karthik speaks to Shubham Nag. He's the creator of the community Tattoo Culture. On the Life Manifesto, Zarina shares how one can go about building a strong character with good value system. And on the Habit Coach, Ashton explains the subtle but important difference between listening and hearing. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Also, don't forget to rate us on any of the platforms you're listening to us on, including the one you're listening to us on now. And also, please do check us out on YouTube. We have a number of channels. They're all available on ivmpodcast.com/YouTube. We're also doing a small listener survey to help us understand you, the listener, better, and how you like our shows, how you respond to the advertising, and so on. We'd really appreciate it if you could spare a few minutes to fill it out. It's at ivmpodcast.com/survey. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week, SBI Life Insurance, India Water Portal, and Jupiter, a digital banking app. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Love fighting?
We've got you covered.
Check out our show, The Fighting Goat, where we, the voices of the internet, Arjun Chipalkatti and Somesh Kamra, bring to you crazy weekly action on your favorite combat show, The Fighting Goat.
Be it commentary, breakdown, predictions, analysis of styles and techniques.
And of course, your round of favorite fighters.
You can listen to us every Thursday on the IVM Podcast app, website, and all major podcast streaming platforms.